Well, like, do we have to stay there though? I don't know.
How about someone? I see someone over there.
That's alright. I'll just like. Okay, so Locke's social contract. Locke believes that in the beginning of time, when we were all cavemen, we lived in a state of anarchy. And so anarchy isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just that there's no government. Everybody would do what they wanted and nobody could punish each other, through any police system or judicial system. It was, if I took something from Nina, only what she could do to me is what could happen, right? There isn't any higher power to say what I can and cannot do. So it's absolute freedom. Anarchy is absolute freedom. But the thing is, Locke hypothesized that if you have absolute freedom, if you have the freedom to just take whatever you want, even though it's not mine, then it kind of limits Nina's freedom, right? Because everything that she owns is in jeopardy. She can't live comfortably because everybody around her can, legally steal something from her. So people created something called the social contract, which was, alright, absolute freedom, yeah, it sounds good on paper, but we kind of want some sort of legal protection for our stuff, and that's where the rights came in. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You shouldn't be able to kill anybody, you shouldn't be able to take somebody's life away, you shouldn't be able to oppress them, take away their liberty, and you shouldn't be able to take away their material goods or anything that makes them happy. Pursuit of happiness. So that's the social contract. And once you have a social contract, once you agree that society should be bound by laws, then you also have to agree on government. Who's going to enforce these laws, right? Historically, when Locke was alive, the predominant theory was, God gave the kings power. This was revolutionary because the people gave the king power. So long as the people supported the king, then the king had the right to rule. But basically, all social contract is people came together, said that we need to form government, and if this government does not follow the laws that we set out, then we can create a new one. And an example of this is the Declaration of Independence, because the whole premise of it was the king overstepped his political boundaries, and because of that, the colonists in the 13 colonies, they had a right to rebel and form their own type of government, which was democratic. Does that make sense to everybody? Good.
Yes.
Do you get social contract? Do you want me to go over that again?
It's okay, I'll look at it from work.
I feel like you missed something where I believe at one point it said you cannot punish more than what was committed. I think that was one part of it. Am I right?
That makes sense. I mean, so long as a society, that's one of the laws, then you can't overstep your ability to punish somebody unnecessarily.
There's a few key terms like natural rights, life, liberty, and property, and then insecurity. Those are just key terms you might want to know also.
So then, purpose of liberal government, or purpose of government in a liberal type of government, if that makes sense. So, a government always has, in a liberal society, they always have some kind of document that states out what the laws are. And for the US, that's the Constitution. For the United Kingdom, it's the Magna Carta. For France, it's the Declaration of the Rights of Man, or something like that. For every country it's different, but for us it's the Constitution. But it kind of doesn't matter, because in most liberal societies, the Constitution, the Magna Carta, the Declaration of Human Rights, and something else for France, they all say basically the same thing. Government should be democratic,